I think we've all forgotten something truly terrible that's going to start happening in 2026 onwards. Generation Alpha, the kids born from 2010 onwards, are now all turning 16, which means the earliest versions of the iPad generation are now legally old enough to start having children of their own. Just let that sit there for a second. This is the generation that grew up being raised by YouTube, TikTok, algorithms, school emails, endless labels, screen time, and parents terrified of saying the word no too firmly is now slowly approaching adulthood. And yes, before anyone has a nervous breakdown in the comments, obviously this is not every single teenager. Some of them are bright, funny, switched on, and probably more sensible than half the adults currently running this country. But we all know the type I'm talking about. These are the ones who grew up with an iPad in the pram, a tablet at the dinner table, and a worldview partly assembled by TikTok influencers who think having a phone battery under 20% counts as lived trauma. And who raised a lot of them? Millennials. That's right, the same generation that went from don't label me to labeling absolutely everything. The generation that somehow managed to rebel against their parents, then raise children who need a risk assessment before hearing the word bedtime. So over the next 10 to 15 years, we're not just getting older, we are entering an entirely new social experiment, because Gen Alpha are not just growing up, some of them will soon be parents. And at the same time, Labour wants 16 and 17-year-olds voting in all UK elections under its representation of the people bill that I covered yesterday. So the same generation still asking ChatGPT how to boil pasta could soon be helping choose our future governments. Because every single generation thinks the one after them is broken. That's just how aging works. One day you're young and cool, then suddenly you're stood in Tesco's judging someone for buying Prime and calling it that YouTube juice. But there is something fundamentally different about this one. This is the first generation properly raised inside the algorithm, not just using the internet, living inside it. Their humor, politics, relationships, attention span, identity, fears, opinions, all shaped by apps designed to keep them scrolling, reacting, comparing, and panicking. And Labour have come out and said they want to ban social media for under 16-year-olds. The problem is, we've got a generation of them that are now turning into adulthood. So when people say the next decade might get strange, I don't think they're aiming high enough. Because if you think politics is mad now, wait until the first Prime Minister refuses to resign because they're protecting their energy and setting a boundary with the electorate. We had a good run, Britain. Sort of.